Good morning, Tippecanoe County, and is it a great start to a great day with sunny skies and an expected high of 76 degrees? So, start making your plans to get out and enjoy our great community. Speaking of great communities, I have as my guest this morning someone who is a bit of an expert on what makes the greater Lafayette area such a great place to live. I have with me Linda Bowman, Chair of the Board of the Community Foundation of Greater Lafayette. Good morning, Linda. Thanks for coming.
Good morning, Greg. It's nice to be here.
Linda, I'm not sure very many of our listeners have even heard of the Community Foundation. Tell us, what is it?
Well, Greg, we're a public foundation created by the people of our community for the people of our community.
So, what does a community foundation do?
Well, essentially, a community foundation builds endowment funds established by individuals or families or charitable organizations to permanently address needs in our local area.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by permanently addressing these community needs. And what exactly is an endowment?
Here's how an endowment fund works. When a donation is given, we invest the principal in a professionally managed fund, along with millions of dollars of other endowments. The investment generates earnings, and these annual earnings are paid out in the form of grants that support our charitable organizations. The principal is never spent. It just keeps generating these earnings in perpetuity.
So, after I'm gone, I can still be making an impact for generations to come.
Well, yes, and we can help you do that. That's called a legacy gift, where a portion of your estate is given to the Community Foundation to create an endowment for your favorite charities. But most of our endowments are already in place by people who are living. Sure, it will continue after they've passed, but they want the pleasure of seeing people helped while they're still alive, too.
Very interesting, Linda. Well, let's open up the phone lines now. It looks like we have Ted Harris on the phone. Ted, have you heard of the Community Foundation?
Yes, I have. I wanted to call to say I have firsthand experience with the foundation. They're doing a wonderful job in making our community a better place.
So, what has been your involvement, Ted?
Well, I'm a volunteer with a local organization known as Nisha's Land Trust. Our goal is to help preserve large tracts of forest, prairies, and wetlands in our community. These are environmental treasures for future generations to enjoy. But the concern for an organization like ours is to guarantee that the work continues after we are gone. How can we help keep Nisha's strong so the lands will be protected in perpetuity?
Yes, that would be a problem. Did you find a solution?
Well, we realized that just raising annual donations wasn't going to be a permanent solution. We were worried that at some point in the future our money and therefore our ability to protect these lands might run out.
And there goes all your work.
Exactly. That's when we discovered the Community Foundation and learned about endowment funds. We met with them and they showed us how to maximize growth by combining our money with millions of dollars of other endowments that they're managing.
So, what are the advantages of working with them?
There have been a number. As Linda already explained, these endowments generate annual returns, providing a perpetual source of money that will help cover our yearly operating expenses. So, our goal of protecting the lands in perpetuity is met. Second, we get a much better return because we're combining our funds with a large pool of other funds. And third, we get oversight by professionals, the Community Foundation's board. That frees us up to do what we do best, protect more land for future generations.
Thanks, Ted. So, Linda, this sounds pretty good, but who has their eye on the till to make sure the system keeps growing and paying out?
The foundation has purposely assembled a very active board made up of an extremely varied group of community professionals. We have a farmer who has served a cabinet position under President George Bush Sr., Purdue's Vice President of Human Resources. We have attorneys, local certified public accountants, and financial planners. A school superintendent serves, as well as business entrepreneurs, and our endowment donors. All are on the board.
That's an impressive group minding the store, and diverse, too.
Yes, and by being diverse, we all see different needs within our community.
Here's our next caller, Lita Kelly. Lita, what do you know about the Community Foundation?
Well, I know they're doing a great job. My husband Jack is a surgeon here in Lafayette, and we've always believed in volunteering as a way to give back to our community. It's also been immensely fulfilling, and it's given us a really good perspective on where a lot of the needs are.
What groups have you been involved with, Lita?
Currently, Jack and I are at a Habitat for Humanity project, but I've been a trainer at the Crisis Center, and I've staffed the phones there several times a month.
Well, that would give you a perspective of community needs.
Yes, it has. That's why when we were preparing our will, our attorney suggested that we contact the Community Foundation to help us set up an endowment. We wanted to give more than a one-time gift to an organization. Our endowment will provide ongoing support to our church, to United Way, to Habitat for Humanity, to the Lafayette Urban Ministry, and to the Crisis Center. It was very easy to do. A few meetings with the foundation staff, and everything was set up just the way we wanted it.
Thank you, Lita. I might add 2 things, Greg. First, it doesn't take a lot of money to set up an endowment with the Community Foundation. And second, donors can get as involved as they want with their fund. They can either recommend ideas or ask the board for suggestions in their area of interest. It might be supporting the local arts or social services, churches, educational scholarships, or even environmental issues.
I think I'm getting this. The Community Foundation is sort of a central clearinghouse for those interested in giving back to the community. Is that right?
In some ways, yes. But far more than that, it's not always about money. The bottom line is we want to bring people together to address community issues and to make this a better place to live. Looks like you have another caller, Greg.
It seems we have Sheriff Tracey Brown on the phone this morning. Sheriff, what brings you to our program?
Good morning, Greg. I just caught Linda's last comments on the way to work, and I can give you a prime example of the Foundation's involvement in our community. Back in 2005, our community was shaken by the death of Ayanna Govan through child abuse. The Community Foundation spearheaded a convening of civic leaders, law enforcement, the courts, and social services to study the problem. And then they granted money to bring in experts to show the community how to stop the cycle of abuse.
Impressive. And is it working?
Changes are already occurring. Our people are being trained and communications between agencies are being strengthened. The thing your listeners need to know is that the Community Foundation continues to fund a number of projects that address the needs of our children.
Thank you, Sheriff. Greg, all these stories just illustrate the Community Foundation's role, which is enriching lives forever. While we help address current needs, our primary focus is the future. How can we improve our community today to make it a better place tomorrow?
And it appears you and your donors are making a big difference in a lot of lives in our community. Linda, we have time for one more caller. Skip Sturgeon is on the line. Skip, what's your experience with the Community Foundation?
Well, I originally found out about them when we were looking for money to fix up Battleground Summer Recreation Program. The bathrooms and the baseball facilities were a mess. See you guys. Nobody wanted to use them, so we applied for a grant with the foundation to fix them up. It has made such a difference for the kids. It really showed them someone cared.
So the foundation is involved in rural areas too?
If it's in Tippecanoe County, absolutely. But there's more to my story. I'm 36 years old, married with 4 kids of my own. I've been a cabinet maker for years, but began to realize we were not getting to where we wanted to be. Knowing how I loved working with kids, my wife suggested I become a teacher. I remember saying, yeah, right, we don't have the money for that. But it got me thinking about my initial contact with the Community Foundation. I had heard they gave out scholarships, but to someone in their 30s?
I imagine they are usually given to high school seniors.
Right, and I really didn't have the academic background, but I applied for the scholarship anyway and went through a thorough screening process with the scholarship committee. To make a long story short, I'm attending Purdue with a full scholarship to become an elementary school teacher. This has been just an awesome, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me and my family.
That's great, Skip. So what do your kids think of Dad the student?
I think they see that Daddy isn't afraid to try something new. They saw my early struggles just trying to catch up with the technology and how far behind I was. I think they see how important it is to work at not falling behind in your education, but if they do need to start over, they'll see that it can be done.
A living legacy for the next generation. Thanks, Skip. Well, Linda, as you said earlier, enriching lives forever. That really is what the Community Foundation of Greater Lafayette seems to be about. Thanks for coming to tell us about it.
And thank you for inviting me, Greg. It was a pleasure to be here.